Outlook 2013 gets some nice updates here. In Office 2013, we're going to begin with the user interface. Of course, you'll need to be connected to an email account. You're prompted to do so the very first time you launch Outlook 2013. It's the same as clicking the File tab up here and clicking Add Account. From here, you can simply enter your name, the email address of the account you want to connect to, and that can now include a Hotmail account. It'll automatically connect without an extra connector add-on that we used to see. And you can just enter your password twice that you use to access that account. Clicking Next will pretty much set you up and connect you to that account. And of course, you can be connected to multiple accounts here in Outlook. As you can see at the very top, I'm connected to my temporary Hotmail account that I've set up here. And I do have some messages sitting here in my inbox, one from the Hotmail team for setting up my Hotmail account, some information to get me started. Now over here on the left-hand side, we do have our folder pane. It is collapsed by default, gives us access to a few of the folders, including all folders down below. And this will expand the folder pane the same as clicking this little arrow at the top. And that does give us access to all of our folders, our favorites, any accounts you might be connected to. I'm connected to multiple accounts, including my Hotmail account. The inbox is highlighted here under that particular account. And we can collapse any accounts that we don't want to look at just to focus on the information that is pertinent. We can collapse this at any time. We'll minimize the folder pane by clicking the same arrow. And you'll also notice a change down in the bottom is where we have access now to our calendar, our contacts, now labeled people, as well as tasks. What's different here, though, is a nice little sneak peek you get when you hover over them. Just hover over the calendar and you'll see a pop-up of the calendar with the current date highlighted. Looks like I have nothing scheduled today, but if I click on tomorrow, looks like I do have something scheduled tomorrow. So that's a nice little way to switch to the calendar temporarily without actually going to the tool itself. We remain in our Mail tool while viewing our calendar. Just click anywhere outside that pop-up to close it up. Same thing goes for your contacts. It's now called People. And if you have any that have been added to your favorites, you'll see them here. You can hover over their names. You can send them emails. Open up their contact card if you wanted to. A nice way to access that information without having to switch to the People tool. We're still in our Mail tool continuing to work with email messages. Also, look what happens when you click Reply. If you have a message, go ahead and select it and click Reply. It doesn't open up a separate window like it used to. This is now in line, so here in the reading pane, we continue to work with the same message replying to that person. And if we didn't really mean to do that, we can click Discard. Let's go to Calendar now. We'll click Calendar down at the one thing that's quite easy to do now here in Outlook 2013 is connect to social networking. If you already have a Facebook account, maybe LinkedIn, for example, and you have a number of contacts there, you can connect to those actual accounts and have access to all of your contacts within those accounts. Let's see how it's done. Here in Outlook, I'm logged in as Mark Lassie. I'm going to go up to the File tab. And from here, under Account Information, click Account Settings. And right away, you'll see an option for social network accounts. Here's where you go to configure Outlook to connect to any social networks you're connected to. So we'll give it a click and you'll see Facebook, LinkedIn, MySite, and a link to connect to other social networking. One that's missing and obvious is Twitter, but perhaps down the road it will be added. For now, though, let's go to Facebook. Clicking that check mark now prompts us to enter our username and password for our Facebook account. This is our own account. So I'm going to put in Mark's info. The username is his email address. And then the password. And then click Connect at the bottom of this dialog. Only takes a moment and you'll see the green check mark indicating that you're now connected to your Facebook account. You could do the same for LinkedIn and any others. A couple of new buttons appear as well if you need to edit any of those settings, or if you want to disconnect. The black X, looking like a delete button, will disconnect you. But for now, we're good. We'll click Finish. You'll see some messaging saying that congratulations, you're now connected, see what's going on, etc. We're going to close this up by clicking the Close button and then hit the back button at the very top left to go back to our emails. Now you can see we do have a message, and if you have any email messages from someone who might be a contact, this is where it gets really handy. I have an email here from Dave Rivers showing me his new email. Now if I look down below, I'm going to see no items for Dave Rivers, but there is a little arrow in the bottom right-hand corner that allows us to expand something called the People pane. And from here, you can see any updates. Under What's New is where you're going to see anything that this contact happens to do in their, for example, Facebook account if you're connected to them there. So you'll always know what's going on. If they update their photo, you'll see that update here. If they add any content, you'll see updates arriving from those users when you're looking at the People pane down at the bottom. So I'm just going to collapse that, and we'll always be able to know what's going on with our contacts thanks to that little feature. Also, when you go to People here and hover over it, you might want to add those people to your favorites. Remember, all you have to do is find any user, just right-click. I'm going to go to the image here, right-click, and choose Add to Favorites. And now when I hover over People, Dave Rivers is going to be one of my favorites. And now all that means is that I'll always be able to... One thing Outlook 2013 does much better now is integrate with SharePoint. If you have an Office 365 SharePoint account, you can connect to it via Outlook and have access to all of your document files stored there. And SharePoint groups get their own mailboxes now. To do this, we go up to the File tab, go down to Office Account and click there. And under Connected Services, you'll notice Add a Service. And when we click that, Storage is an option. And when we move down to storage, a couple of options appear off to the right. One is Office 365 SharePoint, and we can click it right there. Now all we need to do is sign in to our Office 365 SharePoint account, and we're connected. So what does that mean? It means you'll have access to all of those document files you have stored in SharePoint directly from Microsoft Outlook 2013.